So I got hit on at the library again today. I was at the library doing my thing on the computer, and this guy sits down on some seats kind of to my left, about 10 feet away. And he's obviously in my peripheral, so kind of, I look over a few times. He seems to be minding his own business, so it's good. But then after a little while, he starts walking towards me, and because it's so obvious that he's walking towards me, I'm kind of like, hey. And he's sort of looking at me and smiling. I'm like, And because he's like about a 30-year-old, kind of bigger guy, like not really, if I wasn't with anybody, not who I would be interested in. He says hi and stuff, and he sits down to the computer next to me, and I'm so thankful because that computer's not working, and I knew that when I first sat down. I'm like, oh good, that computer's not working, then I'm not going to have any creepy people trying to talk to me, except for this guy who did. And I'm trying to tell him, like, oh, that one's offline, like that one's not working. And he's like, like he's not listening. I keep saying, no, that one's not working. He's like, I'm like, and then he notices finally that it's not working, and he makes a stupid comment like, oh, that's no worries. I fixed my phone the other day, so this will be no problem. I'm like, oh, that's nice. So obviously he's trying to click it and make it work, and it's not, and he obviously kind of gives up and goes away. Kind of does a loop around the library and then goes back to where he's sitting. So for the rest of my time at the library, he's in my peripherals, and I'm like, don't look, don't look, don't look. So yeah, it wasn't really that bad. It was just more of uncomfortable experience. Obviously, guy trying, like, kind of interested, trying to talk to you when you don't want to be talked to because this is a public place and I'm trying to do work at the library. So yeah. But anyway, I'm going to share another story, which was a little bit more interesting, that happened to me a few years ago, of a incident where I was stalked. I was walking home. This is when I was living with Mum, and I go by this particular house all the time, or I did, and there would be this guy there with these shades on all the time, and I noticed he would notice me, but that was the extent of it. But then one time I was walking home and he started following me. Like, he was in his yard, he saw me and he started following me. So he was a good, maybe, I don't know, 40 feet behind me, just following me. And I was like, I didn't know how to react at first, but then I thought, you know what, I am really positive he's following me, so I'm going to address it. So I just turned around and I said, can I help you? And he kind of kept walking towards me. He's like, oh, hey, and stuff. And when he gets closer, what really strikes me about this individual man is that he's always wearing shades, but they were broken. They had cracks in them everywhere. And I noticed that he's always wearing them. I've never seen his eyes. And I'm like, your shades are, I didn't say it to him, but I'm like, your shades are cracked, and he tried to ask me out. Obviously, he was like, oh, I see you around, and I was just wondering if you would like to go out sometime, or blah, 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 that sort of thing. And so I'm kind of like, man, guy who can't even buy a new pair of shades, it's not a big way to impress someone to get a yes. So it was about, obviously I just kind of was like, oh no, I'm engaged and everything, because Chris and I had been engaged for a few years. And so, yeah, he's like, oh, okay, and then he walked off. But yeah, so, again, I know there are much worse creepers, people hitting on you when they don't want you, stalker stories out there, and I guess mine are fairly mild most of the time. But it's still uncomfortable, and you just wish it didn't happen. Anyway, just today's story and a past story. So if anybody out there in the internet has their own story about, being awkwardly hit on by creepy men, please share down below. Or creepy women. I'd like to hear some stories about that too. You never really hear about those kinds of stories. But let's see. Alright. Alright, thanks for listening. Bye!